some history. Told him, what are you getting me for Christmas? What are you getting Papa for Christmas?
Good evening. Welcome to the October 2nd meeting of City Council. Could we please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Here.
Fluharty,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Asbury,
Here.
Saunders,
Here.
Cochi,
Here.
Spinks.
Here.
We have no minutes at this time to approve, so I know we have some representatives from the school board here. Did you wish to say something tonight, or are you just here available for questions after? Got our school board? Jatina?
Yes.
Oh, I thought,
I just wanted to let everyone know that I have some flyers.
Could you step up to the...
yeah. Good to see you.
Yes. Thank you.
I just wanted to inform everyone that we have another community forum coming up. This gives the community of our 4 municipalities the opportunity to ask any questions that they have about our bond issue 4. It is Monday, October 9th, and we have it from 6 to 8. This forum will be at the Bedford High School, and you can get a tour of the school too. So there'll be individuals there to take you on a tour so you could see the conditions of our buildings. So I wanted to leave the flyer here for anyone who might be interested. It is next Monday, October 9th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Bedford High School.
Okay.
And we'll move on to unfinished business. We have a motion to rename and dedicate Interstate Park as Bill Cosgrove Park. Have a motion for suspension by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
No.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Smith, second by Saunders. Vic, you want to handle this one?
Well, this is a long overdue trying to get Interstate Park changed without having to go through the history. There was an old school there, that's why it was called Interstate back in the 60s. And I always wondered why we got Greencroft on Greencroft, we got Taft on Taft, we got Elwood on Elwood, and we got Interstate on Justin. So anyhow, I think it was because years ago there was an industry on Interstate Street that probably donated money to the schools back in the early 1900s to name that interstate. So anyhow, that's all been gone, been knocked down for years and stuff. So I always did want to change it somehow, and then had an idea with a person that I know personally that grew up down the street from there. His name is Bill Cosgrove. He's the owner of Union Home Mortgage. He's always had, I think, all of his interviews talk about Bedford. He's like what you would call rags to riches. He's very rich. He really did well and successful in the world, business world. And so if I'm going to change the name of this, I always wanted to do something for him. And the timing was just right at the time to, while we're changing the name of this park, he grew up 2 doors from this park, and all his aunts and uncles lived on the street. So it would be a perfect time to rename that park after him.
Thank you. Sir, call the roll, please.
Janutus,
No.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Ordinance number 75-23.
Is an ordinance enacting Chapter 751 entitled Video Surveillance Systems for Apartment Complexes of the Business Regulation and Building Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Bedford to require apartment complexes to install video surveillance systems and provide access to the Bedford Police Department when requested.
We had a first reading last meeting, and it's our wish to put that on second reading so we study it just a little bit more. Can I have a motion for such by Asbury, second by Smith? Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
All right, Roy, reports. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. A few items this evening. First, I just want to, I've talked about it a couple meetings now, that we had applied for a grant. The Parks and Recreation Department applied to the grant for the Cuyahoga County, through the Cuyahoga County Senior and Adult Services Department, and we were awarded a $62,000 annual grant, and that's a 2-year cycle. We were previously awarded this grant, but it was substantially less. These funds will help offset costs for senior transportation, senior club, those that are the congregate meals, programs, classes, all of that will be reimbursed through this grant. So it will allow us to do more with more funds coming in. So I just want to obviously let the public know, but give credit to the department. It was a very cumbersome application. It's good to hear that we were successful. As far as the parks, I think everybody got this. This was out in just the recent water bill. There's the trick or treat street event at Ellenwood later in October, on October 21st. But one of the things that's coming up is the Senior Health and Wellness Fair. That's going to be held on October 18th. A lot of vendors are going to be coming to that. We hope to get something out on our website and social media so that the public can see who is signed up, who will be there. Anybody and all is welcome. There'll also be free health screenings, glucose, cholesterol, the whole 9 yards. So check that out. Good program. And it's new. Children's Fall Fest is scheduled for this Saturday. That's down on the Commons. That will begin at 10 o'clock. We also just went live last week with the new entry exam for patrol officers. We are working through the National Testing Network, and that application will be live through October 30th. Did have some conversations, and Councilman, I think I mentioned, and forgive me if I didn't, We did have some discussions with First Energy and Spectrum over the last couple weeks. There's still a number of poles that have yet to get removed, where you see duplicate telephone poles. Really, it is a back and forth between First Energy and Spectrum, where you see those duplicate poles. First Energy is not permitted to touch anything that Spectrum owns, even though it is on their pole. So it's a coordinating issue. In particular, we brought up some of the concerns that we spoke about on Mapledale, as well as the low-hanging wires that are there, and they are going to have staff out there to address that. So hopefully that happens sooner than later. And lastly, just wanted to pass along that we're continuing discussions. Broadway is moving along. We did bring up a number of concerns with ODOT that's centered around parking in the historic district, traffic pattern up on the hill at Hawthorne Parkway, as well as the traffic pattern change at West Grace. And understand the reason some of those traffic patterns have changed is specifically, I'll address the West Grace location. You know, previously it was kind of 3 lanes in both directions. You had 2 through lanes, and then you had a turning lane. You have to have through lanes, you need 12 feet width, and that did not have 12 feet wide. It didn't meet ODOT specs for a state route, which is why it got shrunk. So we're working through that. Obviously, we have some concerns and some other ideas that we think would improve the traffic pattern, but that is why it was changed. It wasn't the city's decision to let's tweak the traffic pattern. It all centered around the width of those lanes, and it didn't meet the requirements of the state route. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Law Director.
Just want to welcome everybody to the meeting. I wish all the candidates good luck, and the report.
Finance Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, I just wanted to remind everyone that the water discount application period deadline has ended last week, but we are still accepting applications if someone missed the deadline. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council, Mr. Janutus.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. And no report today. Thank you.
Mr. Fluharty.
As Mike said, they're up on the hill here doing the construction now, and it's actually going pretty good around Carroll. I'm surprised that I haven't had any problems. That's good. There are people getting in and out of there. But we do have a problem with up and down the side streets, Paul Street, John, Best, since the cars are diverting that way. They're not even stopping for those stop signs or anything else. I think we need to have the PD up there and slow some of that traffic down, because it's going very fast up and down the street. When they're late for work, they're flying. So school buses are out, kids are out waiting, and it's we don't need any accidents. In the report.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
I'd just like to say welcome to everyone. I do see some new faces in the house. Please continue to come. Don't let this be your first meeting, or don't let this be your last meeting, because we do appreciate your input into our meetings, and especially our city, in the report.
Thank you. Mr. Asbury.
Thank you, Mayor. Mike, on the intersection there at West Grace, the way they have it, they have a double yellow line in the left-hand lane traveling north and south, east, and west, whichever way. So if you're coming up to the light of West Grace, heading north, they have a double yellow line that diverts you into the right-hand lane, because you can't cross a double yellow, right? And then you can get back into the left lane. It's a very short span right there. And it's not a left-hand turn only, even though they have a big left arrow, because there's a 4-lane in front of you. It's extremely confusing, and if people have to divert into the right lane to come back into the left lane, I think that's going to cause some issues. So, okay, you know.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. So I just quickly want to announce that Bedford Downtown Alliance first Friday of the year is this Friday from 6 to 8. Let's glow around downtown. Sounds like a dozen or so businesses will be handing out treats for the kids. Get them in costume, bring their glow sticks, flashlights, come on downtown. I do believe Cerna's has hot dogs and chips that night also. So it's gonna be a nice night. Bring the kids down, they'll have some fun. And last chipper services this week, if you didn't get on the list, you have to break them up, put them in your garbage cans. And the leaf pickup should start in a couple weeks, maybe third week of November. Yes, October, third week of October. When you do rake your leaves or blow your leaves, or however you transport your leaves to your tree lawn, please try and keep them on the tree lawn, try and keep them out of the street. Makes a mess in the street, clogs up the sewer grates. Other than that, that's it, and a report.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
Well, since you've pretty much handled everything, just want to make a quick comment, and that has to do with the restriping of Broadway. People don't realize whenever there's federal aid money in a project, especially on a state route, everything has to follow the Uniform Manual of Traffic Control Devices, which, by the way, if you ever want to see it, it is available online. But it will tell you the signage that you can allow, it'll tell you the striping that is allowed, the widths of roadways, parking, the whole bit. So it's all there, and it has to be followed when there's certain funds that are put into it. So you will see changes on certain roads, especially in the future when they do Northfield Road, and because that's a state route also. So it is the law in the state of Ohio. So we have no choice over it. The city has to adhere to it. So Mike is correct in the fact that are we being forced to do it? Well, technically yes, but it is the law. So we'll have to deal with it. I know change breeds resistance, but this has been around for some time now. It's now being fully enforced though. So I guess we all have to get used to it. Thank you.
Mrs. Spinks?
Good evening, everybody. Just a quick, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Men and women, men need to check for the signs for lumps because they can get breast cancer just like women do. Early prevention is very, very important. So check the tatas, men and women. Mike, are we still moving the speed signs around town? Are we still going to be installing some flashing stop signs?
We have not purchased any yet,
Okay.
but we are looking at some other areas for that. We are moving the flashing speed sign. I believe it's the next location. If it's not there yet, they're planning to put it over on Union Street, since that was kind of a detour route with the Broadway project, especially in the dip. I want to say like around 300 area is where we'll be looking to put that one up. But we are going to be putting up permanent ones in various locations throughout town later this year.
Did we ever, I know I've mentioned it several times, did we ever check in more about the speed plates? Because I know we discussed the speed bumps, because the speed, it's everywhere. I mean, it's not just in Ward 1, it's in every ward, it's everywhere you go, but it's crazy when you do stop at a stop sign, they're passing you, they're going up on the curves. I know that Cleveland, they've been doing more and more research on the speed plates. So I'm hoping, I know there's grants out there, so I know you and Chief talked about it one time before, but.
Cleveland installed, they're called speed tables. So they installed those and they started a pilot program. I want to say it was either this spring or last fall.
I think it was last fall.
I want to obviously follow up and see how that worked. I don't know if they're going to expand that. Like I said, it was a pilot program. Other communities do different, which I would say I'm not in favor of this. At least my initial opinion is, if you look at Lakewood, what they do on some of their side streets, they actually create a bump out.
Okay.
And it's a flower bed. And then, so basically if a car's coming one way, and you have to wait for that car to come around, and then you go around. And it slows traffic down. Other communities, there's a couple communities in the Columbus area that did that. And one of them that I spoke to said they would get, trucks, they'd go right through right through. So no matter, but we have looked at different scenarios.
Okay.
but I have not heard if Cleveland was expanding its speed tables, but we'll look into that.
I know that, yeah, it was last fall and stuff, because I'm on the NOCA board, Northeast Ohio City Council Association, and that's one of my favorite things. We do round table discussions. Frank and Vic go to quite a few of them with me when we do our forums, and it's very interested in all the cities. I mean, it's everywhere. So Strongsville we're thinking it's bigger, but same thing with the people just flying and everything. Let's see, Spirit Walk, the Bedford Historical Society having our annual Spirit Walk. We are sold out for the Friday night, October 27th and 28th. The landing tours are sold out. They went fast. Only thing we have available is a few spots on Saturday, October 28th, the matinee at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. This is a real fun thing. It's at the cemetery, so you would meet out there. You can call the Bedford Historical Society, and there's several interesting characters that will be playing. This year it's real neat. We're going to have someone playing Leo Cerna, who was on Service Cafe. If you've never been there, make sure you go there. Greatest burgers around, and a couple other characters. It's a very fun night. It's not real spooky. It's more about the history. And then the second Friday will be our speaker series, and it's movies from the vault. So Stan, you might want to show up for that, because you'll probably see yourself in there when you were a teenager. I had to throw that in there. Well, I mean, yeah, you're in the museum. Let's see, so, yeah, Fall Festival, gonna be doing the make and take art projects with the kids again. The Bedford Historical Society, we're gonna have a table set up, and we're gonna be making old time hats and some other things from when kids were, when I was young, arts that we would do. And so that's what we're doing this year at the Falls Festival. End of report.
Thank you. Yeah, this weekend, my wife and I took a couple days. We did some traveling around all through Ohio and saw some of the brand new streets that were paved, state routes, same striping that they're putting in here. So, and the same thing, you'd have to get over, go through. Then you 2 lanes, and you got to get over. It's all over. So see what happens there. Okay, let's move on with business. We have our first motion was to accept the Planning Commission's split decision to allow Ms. Jackson to open a massage therapy business in the historical district at 660 Broadway Avenue. I think this is the first time I can remember we had a split decision, so it now comes down to council to make the decision. And Ms. Jackson here? Here. Hey, could you come forward, please? Because of this split decision, we would have to make the decision. There's a couple of questions that council wanted to ask before we get on to actually doing a vote. It's very rare that we get a split decision. And so somebody like to start off with questions?
Want to give a brief summary? I mean, just because the minutes aren't prepared yet, and they haven't had a chance to review exactly what was said at the meetings. I don't believe it is, so it's a quick couple minutes. I mean, aren't you a licensed, I tell them a little bit about your business.
Yes, so again, yes, my name is Tadasha Jackson. I am the founder of Restoration Bar. I've been established since 2021. My business right now, my business has served Cleveland and surrounding areas by educating communities on therapeutic services that are adjuvant to mental health services, empowering communities to take charge and be accountable for their mental health outcomes. My mission is to, or my promise is to ensure the health and safety of all current and potential clients by practicing with integrity within the scope of practice, And my goal as a social worker and a massage therapist, again, is to educate the community on holistic approaches to help maintain their mental and physical health. With Restoration Bar, I relocated from Maple Heights, a little down the street, to historic Bedford. I am licensed. I have been practicing for a few years. I do have a few partnerships with some surrounding businesses around Cleveland and Bedford. Earlier this afternoon, I did have the opportunity to drop off a brief presentation explaining my business, along with several recommendation letters from different companies that I have partnered with. And I enjoy what I do. My goal right now, sorry, I created a presentation. I want to get through it. But one of the slides on the presentation, it asks why historic Bedford. And my goal here is to collaborate with other wellness businesses in the area. Specifically tailor-made herbal products. That is a business that I am in close communication with. She supplies me with a lot of my material I need to make my products. And Spirit Apotheosis, I apologize if I mispronounced that, but it's the same situation. I've received a lot of my products from those two businesses, so I would love to be in close proximity to them. Another reason I chose historic Bedford is for the safety. There is an increase in police and fire presence. Fast responses as well. The building also has an open floor plan with large windows, so in case a situation happens, anyone can see in the building, away from the private rooms where we'll be conducting services. Bedford is also a diverse community. I'm looking to diverse my clientele. Right now, my clientele is predominantly African American or Black women who are pregnant, expecting a child. I also chose downtown Bedford because of its positive reputation for businesses, and the area is also conducive to my clients' interests. So my clients are interested in some of the businesses that are also in the area. So generally, it'll increase some foot traffic, and I can also help support other businesses in the area. And again, I also like to participate in different community events. Again, I am a social worker and I'm a community major at Case Western Reserve, so this is my passion to serve and educate the community. My first event that I'll be participating in is this Friday for the last First Friday event, passing out candy to the children, getting to know them and introducing myself to community members. So that's a little bit about my business. My goal is just to bridge both of my degrees together, again, to help people take charge of their own mental and physical wellness journeys.
Thank you, that sounds good. 6-6, are you going to be a storefront or on a second floor?
Yes, storefront.
Storefront. Any other questions? Oh, we have 4 questions in the back.
Answered quite a few of them.
Yeah, your summary was very good.
Thank you.
Since your wellness will accept insurance, because I know some like chiropractors, if they have masseuse and they have therapy, your insurance will pay for the wellness part of it.
So with massage therapy specifically, insurance does not cover unless you are associated with a chiropractor, but that is something that I am working on. I've been doing some research. My goal is to become involved with different employee assistance programs. So right now, my first employee assistance program is with Progressive Insurance. So Progressive will cover a portion of their services. Same thing with another organization called Birth and Beautiful Communities. They serve pregnant women who are expecting, of course, children or have a child under the age of 1. Same situation. They will purchase a bundle and a bundle of services to provide to their clients, and they send me clientele.
And your appointment only, right?
Yes, appointment only. So you'll never have more than one person in at one time. It's just for safety measures until I'm able to build my team. Right now I have a niche. So pretty much it's just all of the massage therapists in the Northeast Ohio district. So we call upon one another when we have events or a multitude of services in one day that one person can't serve by themselves. But other than that, generally, I'm by myself. So one client per service.
No other questions? Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you can paraphrase it, Jen.
Can we get a motion to allow Ms. Jackson to open a massage therapy business? It's much more than a massage therapy business in the historical district at 660 Broadway Avenue, Bedford, Ohio. Can we get a motion to that effect?
By Spinks, second by Janutus. Call Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Welcome to Bedford. I see you take your business seriously. That's a good sign. All right, a motion to accept the Planning Commission's decision to allow Deanna Knowles to open a body enhancement business in the historical district at 692 Broadway.
Is Ms. Knowles here? Just, let's come over there. How are you?
Good evening.
Brief summary too.
My name is Deanna Knowles. I am the owner of DK Body Enhancements, which my services is to provide services to anyone over the age of 18 who wants to lose body fat. What I do is I focus on any other body parts that has localized fat that you're trying to burst, and I will help reduce that. In order to qualify for this procedure, of course, you'll have to get clearance from your provider. I'm not a healthcare provider, however, I am licensed. I have certification in nursing, and also my background is pretty much in healthcare.
And is this a storefront or?
It is a storefront, and it is appointment-based only, so it's a one-on-one service.
Okay, so you guys are gonna feed off each other.
Yes, along with tailor-made as well.
And it's also sort of a holistic
Correct.
portion to it as well. right?
Health and maintenance, yes, sir.
Any questions from the council?
Do we get a discount?
I don't need a compliment.
That's on him.
That's illegal.
Okay, do I have a seat?
Thank you.
So, clerk, call a roll. Again, the yes is we agree with the planning commission, no, we disagree. I didn't.
Well, it's just a motion, it's okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Can I have a motion for such? By Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Again, welcome. And we have a motion to accept the planning commission's decision to allow Reginald Davis of RTD Contracting Solutions to construct a 265 square foot addition to the church at 1406 Broadway. Any discussion on that?
Anybody need any answers, or is everybody, I think everybody's supportive. If anybody has any questions, they can. The young man's here.
I know the young man. Long-time neighbor. Do I have a motion to accept? By Asbury, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes,
Spinks.
Yes.
thank you. Reggie and I are neighbors for a long time, and I know he does good work because he helped work on my addition, so I know it'll be a good job. And we have another motion to accept the Board of Zoning Appeals decision to deny Mario Howard, located at 102 Tudor Avenue, to remove an existing garage and build a garage to accommodate a hobby of working on vehicles. Mr. Howard here?
Howard, a little summary as well. Just, I mean, we understand what it uses. I think the big concern is hobby versus, you know, working on a vehicle and making noise for it, disrupting the neighborhood, would you,
No, it's just customizing.
as far as,
How we, like all rabbit kind of thing, custom vehicles for shows. And the engine work would be done at the house. Just, you know, maintaining and storing custom vehicles in the garage.
are they personal vehicles? or-
Yes, all personal.
Oh, okay, gotcha, so it's just to get ready for shows that you're going to be attending?
Yes.
What type of vehicles are they, just curious?
Motorcycles, cars, trucks, whatever.
Gotcha.
Time.
The noise level will be,
No.
it's always an issue in neighborhoods with.
Is this a neighbor of yours?
No, he's the one that helped me do the garage. And relative. I know it was an issue as far as a hardship. Well, when I moved in the house in August and had to wait, one of my vehicles got stolen recently. Very expensive vehicle actually, but I gotta deal with that situation. So that's why I was trying to hurry get this garage built so I can.
Store them inside, basically? Is that what you want to do? Want to store the vehicles inside?
Yes,
the garage?
yes. Plus the garage is old, needs to be rebuilt anyway.
So this won't become a business with it?
No, it's not a
Okay.
business. It's just all personal.
All right,
One of my neighbors having a problem with it.
okay.
They just thought it was a business instead of.
Yeah, just didn't want it to, sometimes people start, they start like that, but then it becomes a business. Then that's when the neighbors start to complain.
No.
Okay.
The street is too small anyway.
Okay, well, I'm just
They
saying,
need
I
on the
mean,
street.
I don't know, but I'm just, have to, say that or ask that, that's all.
One more quick question, Meredith, if you don't mind. Yeah, how much of an addition, bigger is it gonna be than out of the norm?
24 by 40.
Taking
24 by 40?
Actually, the city approved 750 square feet, so it'd be approximately 200 square feet over what is normal. He has a very deep lot. His driveway is only 1 car wide. The new garage would be set back about 20 feet further than the old garage, allowing for side-by-side parking. He has 6 vehicles. His aging mother, who doesn't have good health, has moved in with him, and she has her own vehicle, so now it's more. So he's trying to accommodate what he has in addition to what his mother has, without jostling cars every time they want to move something. It'll benefit the neighborhood because his cars will be inside instead of outside. I think he's modest. He actually took first place with one of his vehicles. It's worth over $100,000. It's one of those 3-wheel vehicles. He has pictures to show you. But see, he's at serious risk for theft because his vehicles are worth this much. Mario works for the sheriff's department and will be retiring in 7 to 10 years and hopes to expand his hobby, but not business-wise, he just loves vehicles. He's been working on them since he was 16. He's entered several vehicles in the Autorama. And so this is what he needs. If he has a couple hundred more square feet, it'll be easier for him to store. It'll be easier for him to work on it. It's gonna be something he tinkers on a very regular basis, especially after he retires. It doesn't represent a hardship to the neighbors. In fact, we spoke to all the neighbors. Most of them were in favor of his building a larger garage, given his circumstances. From the street vantage point, it'll actually look like a smaller garage. What he has now is 24 feet wide and 20 feet deep, but once you move it back another 20 feet, it's actually going to be smaller from the street. So the hardship for him is not having a larger garage, because if he has to store these vehicles in a different location, it can't just be a normal location. It would have to be monitored, which is hundreds of dollars a month. Whereas just building another couple hundred square feet of garage at his own location, makes it more secure. Just 2 weeks ago, he had an expensive vehicle stolen, and that plays on his mind. So imagine if he has to have it off-site, he's always worried about it.
Sir, could we have your name and address for
I'm
the
Tom
record?
Truitt. I live in Cleveland Heights.
Thank you. Any questions? Don?
The square footage of the garage, how does that relate to the ground square footage of your house? Is it bigger than the square footage of the house
Oh, no,
ground floor?
No, it's a nice home, it's two-story.
Well, I don't care about the second floor, it's the ground floor that matters.
It's not bigger than the house. No, nowhere near.
Because those houses aren't that big over in that area.
Over a little 1,500 square feet.
The garage is gonna be what total?
About what, 940, 950?
That's rather large.
It's only 24 wide, it's just a little deeper, and from the viewpoint of anyone on the street, it's no bigger than the garages there now.
Well, there was a reason we limited the size of the garages because the houses are smaller, the lots widths are not that great. And just because you lengthen it still creates a problem with the neighborhood in some cases.
It's a very deep lot. Even after he moves the garage back, he'll have about 30 to 35 feet before the back of the lot.
And when people were building garages before that looked like warehouses, people did not want them in their neighborhoods, so.
Any other question?
While we were discussing this in working session, one of my dear friends, Freddie, and his wife live right next to you, so I texted him immediately and texted the people across the street, and they were all for it. They said, you're a good neighbor, they were glad to see you move in, as long as it's hobby, and you said it was, and they trust you for that. So the neighbors, I spoke, like I said, I went back and forth text and made sure before we came out here that they're on board with it. That is my ward, and yeah. If Freddie's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Well, yeah, I just want to mention that you mentioned unnecessary hardship, but that's not the only basis for the Board of Zoning Appeals to make the decision. It is unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty, and I think that you've expressed a practical difficulty. It doesn't have to be a hardship, it's just a practical difficulty. Moreover, the granting the variance is necessary for the reasonable use of someone's land or building, and I think that having a hobby of working on cars is certainly a reasonable use of your land. That's all I have.
Thank you. Clerk, call the rolls. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, let me, make me think, do we have a motion to accept the board, let's see, from the tone I'm getting, I think it's the other way around, but motion to accept the board,
Yes.
yes means
Yes
you,
means it's a deny and a no means allow.
yes.
Just deny.
Okay, it's a little confusing, but.
It's the agreement that the planning commission denied it. So if you agree with the planning commission to deny, it's a yes. If you disagree with the deny, it's a no.
So I'll make the motion, can we get a motion to accept the Board of Zoning Appeals decision to deny Mr. Howard's request to remove an existing garage and build a garage to accommodate a hobby of working on vehicles? Can we get a motion to that effect?
Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll.
Janutus,
No.
Fluharty,
No.
Smith,
No.
Asbury,
No.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
No.
Spinks.
No.
Oh, no means yes.
That means
Thank you very much.
2607-23.
Yes, sir. A resolution authorizing the city manager of the city of Bedford to enter into a 2-year contract on behalf of the city with the General Health District of Cuyahoga County for health services for the years 2024 and 2025 and declaring an emergency.
It's our wish to put this on first reading. A little more to look into. Motion for such. Saunders, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Ordinance number 77-23.
Is an ordinance amending ordinance number 10,033-22, making additional appropriations for current expenditures for the city for the tax year 2023 and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension. Asbury, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Motion for third and final. Spinks, second by Janudis. Jen?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, a budget appropriation ordinance is actually a budget adjustment, just so you know, this is related to budget numbers, not actual expenditures. They're related to actual expenditures that have already basically been approved this year by council. In the general fund, just shifting some money around in the building department to cover the outsourcing of some permit services and increasing, moving some money around in the legal department for some legal fees that we've incurred this year. In Fund 200, that's a community development fund, we're adding an increase of $150,000 for the receipt of a community development block grant. So we're receiving money and then I need to appropriate it to spend the money. And that's for the Bedford Commons, train depot and roof, electrical painting and all that things going on over there. Fund 213, there's various grants related to fire, police, recreation. The Bureau of Workers' Comp awarded an award for a pole pounder for the service department. This council already approved the expenditure of $15,000, the grant's covering $11,000 of that. And I'm appropriating the funds from a donation received to allow for electrical boxes in the city. In the capital projects fund, recently we passed an ordinance to repair the city hall boilers, so I needed to appropriate the funds for that in the capital projects fund of $123,000, just a little over that. And we're working on getting some funding for that as well. And the wastewater fund, $43,000 for sanitary sewer repairs. This is emergency repairs that were just approved at the last meeting. And that's all I have for this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
There again, we're trying to avert a shutdown. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway.
The jovial mood tonight, I don't know.
I'm gonna be a grandfather again, I just found out today.
Oh, cool, congratulations. Call the roll, please.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Ordinance number 78-23.
Authorizing the city manager to apply for a fiscal year 2023-2024 Community Development Block Grant Fund through the Cuyahoga County Department of Development toward the purchase of, which will be used to purchase police cruisers for the City of Bedford Police Department and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Smith. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. As the legislation states, we are have the ability to apply for $150,000 in community development block grant funds through Cuyahoga County. They are actually as Don mentioned, they are federal funds. The one thing is, being that Bedford, we're a non-entitlement community, which means entitlement communities over a certain population, they get these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to use how they feel is needed throughout the community. We have to apply for those funds because we're at 13,000, we fall under. And that max is $150,000 a year, and Cuyahoga County administers that program. They are now allowing these funds to be used to acquire cruisers, which will help offset our budget. And our intent is to purchase 2, possibly 3, depending on what types of vehicles are available. This grant is due at the end of the month, so we're a little bit up on the timeline. What may be preferred isn't going to be available, just due to supply chain issues. The funds have to be spent, and you have to receive what you're using the funds for by September of next year. So, although I don't want to name one of the big threes, but if one of them says, yeah, we'll have your vehicle, and we enter that contract, and that's not guaranteed, we may be subject to losing that and not get reimbursed. So we need to make sure, and that's why we're undecided if we'll be able to sneak out a 3rd vehicle or if we'll be only purchasing 2. If we're successful, but I'm pretty confident we'll be successful.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Before we get to hearing the citizens, we have our NOPEC representative here, Mr. Tony Ramos. Was there something you wanted to bring up? Please come up.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I'm Tony Ramos. I'm a Relationship Manager from NOPEC. And I was just stopping by this evening. I came out and saw you in the spring before we restarted our electric aggregation program. And I told you then I would come back in the fall and give you an update. So I wanted to let you know that our re-enrollment process completed, and we're happy to report that we've recovered about 80% of the customers that we returned last summer. Those numbers, we are now currently experiencing an uptick as people who opted out and didn't participate, as they started to get July, August, and September electric bills, they started to call us to join the electric aggregation program. So if you've been driving in your car, listening to the radio, or watching television, you're likely getting tired of hearing the word NOPEC, but we are advertising, and we will be advertising up until right before election. What that translates to the city here is you have about almost 3,800 residents participating in the electric aggregation program, and almost 2,400 residents participating in the gas program. So you're above close to 6,200 residents that are participating. I have folders for you. It's always good to remind you who we are and what we do. If we're not top of mind, you forget that we're there, which means we're doing our job really well. They're not thinking about us. There's a flyer in here this Friday, and for the new small businesses on the back, this is good to know. We are in partnership with the City of Garfield Heights holding a economic development forum on Friday, October 6th at 10 a.m. at Garfield Heights City Hall. There's a flyer in here for you with all those details. But letting business owners know about our PACE and STEP lending programs, building energy audits, and some of the other items that NOPEC provides to member community businesses at no cost. My contact information is also in the folders, just some other general information. As always, if you have questions for us, don't hesitate to reach out. If you ever have a resident that asks you a question that you can't answer, don't hesitate to send them my way. So just wanted to come back and update you. Things are going well, and if you have any questions, I'll answer those, but I'll give you some folders and get out of your hair.
Well, I have a question. You were here before, and if I recall correctly, you said that if we didn't re-enroll at a certain time, we'd have to wait again until next March. So if we get high electric bills and all of a sudden we want to go ahead and OPEC, is that correct? We have to wait until
So for the electric aggregation program, you can call anytime and join NOPEC. So if you're not a NOPEC customer right now, you got a bill and you go, this is ridiculous, because the utility price is about 11.5 cents. Our price is only 6.45 cents a kilowatt hour. So you could call, and it can take 1 to 2 billing cycles for the kind of the behind the scenes paperwork process to happen. For natural gas, if you opted out of the natural gas program back in the spring, you cannot join that program for a 2-year period. And so if you don't sign a contract with another natural gas energy supplier, you may get pulled back into the aggregation during one of our refresh mailing periods. That kind of happens automatically. You can't call and join. If the city would have to take a special legislative action to allow residents to opt into the gas program. And I can send that to the city manager for your consideration. Then that would allow anybody to call anytime and join the gas program. But electric, you can call anytime. And we offer variable and fixed pricing options for electric and gas. And it doesn't cost anybody anything to leave NOPEC. So if you decide you don't like us and you want to leave, there's no fee to leave. And you reminded me of one other thing for the finance director. As you're getting bills, especially for street lights, and they look very high, we have a preferred pricing program, and right now street lighting our price is about a nickel kilowatt hour. So those preferred pricing programs are always available, and we're always happy to look at bills if you want that.
Thank you.
Cool, I appreciate the time. I'll just pass these out.
Tony, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
How about the new business over there, might need?
Thank you all. Thanks, Tony.
All right, now we come to hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please state your name, your address, and your comment.
Hey, I'm Calvin. I'm 14. I live on Harriman Avenue. And I just wanted to bring your attention to the Bedford Recreational Skate Park. So recently I've been going down there to skateboard with friends and meet new people. And we've all started to notice that it's kind of falling apart. Some of the ramps, they don't have all the screws in. So the metal bends in a way that just makes it really easy to fall. And I just think it's hazardous to the safety of those who use the park, myself included. So I just want to bring that up. And I was wondering if we could somehow fix it, not to tear it down, because as I said, me and my friends really enjoy it, but just to give it a bit of a spit shine.
Thank you, yes. I appreciate your comments. And,
Thank you.
I think the rec department's already looking at that.
Yeah, I will say that we have had some discussions about that throughout the summer, and we even started exploring what grant opportunities are out there. I know there's a Tony Hawk grant, some of them are matching grants, and not only, the intent is to not get rid of them, for sure. We would like to find a way to expand that when utilizing what grant opportunities are out there. So I do know the rec director and the assistant, they were looking at that. And then most likely they'll be bringing a proposal to us during budget times, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing none, motion for adjournment. Spink, second by Fluharty.